Alright, so if you are working with your logo or your word mark and your initials and you're trying to do something a little more complex, like merge letters together, or maybe you've noticed some really beautiful connection between your initials here and the line between the A and the G, like you really want to connect those, but obviously you can't, maybe this typeface is perfect, but you want to make sure you can customize that. So here's some tips for you to go in and customize your typeface into something that's a little bit more editable. Okay, so something I got going on here, I have an A and I have a G in their own text box. And the reason why I have them in their own text box is that I can just start playing around with them. It gives me a little more flexibility to look at their relationships. So I'm going to put them next to one another. And right now they're editable type. So if I hover over it, I can go through and I can change the point size. I can change the typeface. I can change the kerning, all those things. But for what I'm about to do, I really don't want it to be necessarily text anymore. I would rather be able to edit it more like a shape. But I can never come back to where I am now. So what I want to do before I do anything else is I'm going to select both of these and I'm going to do an edit copy and an edit paste. And I'm just going to keep these over on the side. It might make sense to have them off your page completely, but that you just have a backup in case you ever need to come back to where you started from. So before I do what I'm about to do, you always make a copy. So now I'm going to just make sure these are aligned. I'm going to select both of these letters. These are text. I'm going to go up to Type and Create Outlines. And when I create these outlines, they're going to now have all these lines in them. They're now shapes. They're no longer considered text. So if I wanted to go in and change the style, like the typeface and the font, I would no longer be able to do that. But what I can do is I can now come in and I have full access to these anchor points inside here. And the text I use, of course, has a stroke on it and a fill, so that's why it looks a little bit more complicated here. But basically what I'm looking for is these little points, and if you select any of these little anchor points, when they're white, it means they're not selected, and when they're blue, it means they are. So with your white arrow tool, you may individually select and edit each of these little anchor points for you. Okay, so there we have that. And in here we have lots and lots of anchor points that we can then go in and edit. So if I want to connect this line in the A and the line in the G, instead of sitting here, I could select and hold down Shift and select the next one. Or I can click and drag over the area that I'd like to select. And now I can see that those are blue, which means they're selected. And then using the arrow on my keypad, I'm just going to tap it down a few times until it aligns around where I want it to align with the A. Now I want to extend this G based off the sketch that I was looking at to this part of the G to connect to this part of the A. So to do that, I only want to select these two anchor points. So I can hold down Shift and select them, or I can click and drag again like I had done the last time. And now I'm using my arrow to the left, and now they're going to connect. I will have to move this down a little bit, and this is where I'm going to have to come in and customize and make sure that it's perfectly aligned to where I would like. But now I have the A and the G appearing to be connected, right? And I didn't have to draw anything. I just utilized the letter forms that already were there in part of the typeface. In some of the sketches that I saw, there was also some need for just like having sections of this text, and so you could do the same thing if I were to, I just wanted part of the G, for instance. I could copy that and paste it, and you can come in and with the white arrow tool you can actually select areas of this. And so if you select any of these anchor points, then I can just hit delete and it will completely remove that form. So if you are looking to break up text in any way, you could also use the anchor point selections to then go in and customize that. All right, I hope that helps.